You're smart. You know how to listen to suggestion, then make your own decisions, right? We're just two Aussie brothers talking shit about cryptocurrency. So do yourself a favor, research the topic before doing anything financially. Now for that banging intro music.
CryptoSpace. I'm Brett.
And I'm Chad.
This podcast is all about the crypto space.
Now, guys, remember that the crypto space is a place to explore. Go on there, bounce to the satellites and the exchanges and go beyond the place and the space. But remember, it can be dark, so bring a torch.
Chad? We've now passed the 3,500 download mark, Chaddles.
Yeah, well, in my language, I've got to make sure I understand that. That's 3,500. So we've had more downloads than we've had the Olympics games. I guess we probably already... Anyway, yes, we've already had at least more than that.
Thanks to all our subscribers and downloaders who joined us this week. Oh, and a special shout out to our highest represented town of this week is...
Drum roll.
Modesto, California, US.
Also, I promise next week we're going to bring in a better drum roll, for sure.
Thanks, Chad. Go steal them from Isaac. And
absolutely. Also
a shout-out to Donna, Josh, and Rob for joining the Bitcoin and Open Blockchain Melbourne community this week. Thank you, guys.
That is some really good... Brett, did they have some questions for you this week?
Yeah, absolutely fantastic questions. We had a great discussion. We went on for a couple of hours, so that was good.
Wow, a couple of hours. Well, definitely if you put them in a room with you, it's going to be talked about for a couple of hours for sure. What are we talking about today?
All right, so a couple of things we'll look at, Chad. We're going to look at some Vertcoin. We're going to look at the interesting news about atomic swaps, and we're going to talk about ICOs as well. So, Chad, since our podcast on August 30th titled Vertcoin is a Hidden Gem, Vertcoin was 72 cents, right?
Yes.
Okay, so then Vertcoin now moved up to a high of $1.21. And it's now is currently hovering around that 98 cents mark. Not bad, right?
That's pretty good. I think that's pretty good. What's the percentage?
Well, look, that's a minimum of, say, the 36% return mark in this last month.
Hell yes. Go Team CryptoSpace.
And so let's knock over to atomic swaps, John. Okay,
atomic swaps. Quickly, I'm going to define that for you guys. Atomic swaps is where, the exchanges we're talking about, like ACX.io, I think it's called, or...
Yep.
What's the other ones, like Coinbase and all that? All those
Bittrex,
other ones who haven't sponsored us yet.
Not Poloniex.
Bittrex is good. Not Poloniex. They are all like exchanges. Well, atomic swaps, for anybody who doesn't know, this is their first podcast, hello. Atomic swaps is basically cutting out the middleman, which are the exchanges, and being able to transfer, say, Vertcoin to Bitcoin, or Bitcoin to Bitcoin to Litecoin, or Litecoin to Decred and stuff like that. So it's a huge step forward into connecting all these networks and basically making it almost like what we have with the fiat currencies between Japan and Australia and stuff like that. We're going to be able to move between
it's
more
pushing
fluid,
decentralized, just that extra step further.
And the thing is about crypto space and stuff, the thing that's going to put more value in it is that fluidity, that ability to move between.
Well said,
without these exchanges, which are also making money on stuff. Now, I don't know anything about the money thing. Do you know anything about atomic swaps, and does it cost hash power or stuff like that?
That's a good question. Look, the way it's sort of set up means that you and I can determine what the value is that we exchange.
Okay.
So let's say that at the moment, Litecoin, say 1/10-ish of Bitcoin. Let's say you say, okay, well, look, Brett, I'm happy. I want 10 Litecoin, and you just give me 1 Bitcoin. You can determine
don't do
the
that.
exchange.
That's a stupid, guys. That's a stupid thing to do, but it's a good example.
But that's you get the point, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So that sort of gives you an idea.
Yeah. it looks like it utilizes a clever trick known as hash time lock contract, which I've talked about too, which is the HTLC, which means that it sits above the blockchain as like a credit card. Anyway, so what's happening? What happened this week with that stuff?
Well, huge. Charlie Lee's put out a few tweets throughout the week. It started off with Decred and then went to conversations with Vertcoin. And look, this was the news I was waiting on for Vertcoin. There is going to be some more Vertcoin information towards sort of the December-ish mark. Obviously, with the halving coming up at the end of the year, which we've talked about before. But one of the interesting things was obviously that we were waiting on this atomic swap news, and so therefore we've had a great little run-up in Vertcoin. But the really cool thing means that there's sort of a few rumors going around about where BTC might be accepted in the next sort of near future. So wherever Bitcoin goes and whatever exchange or whatever businesses start accepting Bitcoin, Litecoin will follow.
Okay. I'm looking at Charlie Lee's Twitter right now, and he's a super duper nerd. Because
Satoshi Light, power to him.
Yeah. Yeah. So at Satoshi Light on the September the 23rd, he said, did a cross-chain atomic swap with LTC and BTC. 10 Litecoins for, this is obviously on that day, and this is to them, but 10 Litecoins for 0.1137 Bitcoins.
Okay, so his exchange rate might be a bit more fair.
Yeah, and then underneath all of that, he's got like the addresses and how it happened, and then he's just got the level 9000 meme from Dragon Ball Z because he's a total nerd. And then you click over to well, he's in good company because like we are also total nerds. This is all about technology, so it's like it's not a bunch of big bankers and stuff that are sitting in Wall Street going, but there are a couple of them going, yeah. But like you look at Kaiser Report, the Kaiser, Max,
Stacey.
He might wear like vests and stuff, but he's still like a super duper nerd.
Oh,
like
he is.
A super duper nerd.
He is. He's been attending those conferences well and truly before you and I, Chad.
Well, absolutely.
So the next bit is, look, the next thing to talk about is ICO. So just in this last week, Vitalik Buterin, he's the founder of Ethereum. He's down talking in South Korea at the moment. He's been talking at a few different destinations in the last couple of weeks. He has a big conference coming up in a few weeks' time. And he's also got the hard fork for Ethereum, which is also on the cards in the not-too-distant future. So all this traffic means you're going to see volatility and momentum for Ethereum and Ether. But that also brings us around to ICOs.
Okay, so ICOs, apparently this week, we found out the C in ICOs is crap. Can you tell us a little bit more about why it's so shitty?
Chad, are you just reading the notes? I said ICO might stand for initial crap offering, but that's okay.
Yeah, I'm just reading the copy.
So
it says insert funny joke after here, and I did. I inserted funny joke afterwards.
Good work.
Yeah.
So 90% of all ICOs might be relegated to the dustbins of history channels.
Or the toilet, as we just established.
Yeah, exactly. Just trash. Like little trashy moles just moving across the countryside.
Why is that? Why?
Well, sorry, for those people not in Australia, they won't get that, but that's cool. That's an Aussie one there for you.
It spins the wrong way.
The need, look it up, Google it. The need now for more than ever is to look for value. Because one of the things that's really difficult is a lot of people, they look in the crypto space, they look at ICOs and they go, oh yeah, let's have a stab in the dark and let's try and, let's go for this particular ICO because I think that other suckers will buy it after me, or they'll, it might go up in price. What you find is a lot of the time the patterns for ICOs are very, very similar. They learned after a couple of the early ICOs, so Ethereum, for example, they gave them perhaps a little too much money to play with in the early days and found that the technology wasn't being developed as fast as what they would like. With these ICOs, what people are finding is that despite whatever price they think it is that they've put it out as an ICO, usually in its preparation stage to bringing the technology to fruition. They might constrain them a little so that it's below the ICO price so that no one can sell out, no one's trying to make a profit, and everybody has to hold on until the product's ready. And you're going to see that more and more in this next few months. But look at it this way. One of the things to be looking at in the ICO space is that if they're not going to deliver on their product in 6 months with a bang, stay well and truly away from them.
I think so too. I'm now going to go over to quickly, before we wrap up, our favorite Twitter to check out. Honestly, sometimes in humanity, you can sometimes feel like alienated. You can feel like it's doomed. You think sometimes humanity is going in the toilet, essentially. And it's always nice to be able to...
Give me an example. For the listeners, we know what you're talking about. We're all very...
do you want me to read the copy again? Because I'll just say something about ICO. But it is sometimes really good to have that grain of sand, that thing to look forward to. And for me, it's Paris Hilton's Twitter.
So tell me about Paris Hilton's Twitter.
16 hours ago, as per this recording, she said, "This is Earth. It's hot. Don't populate." So
I feel
the
like
modern
she's
philosophers... So the philosophy of modern...
My side is so sore.
I thought George Carlin or Robin Williams would... No, none of those guys. It's just Paris Hilton is just saying it how it is. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 whole words that she had 140 characters to deal with. She could have said something else. She's telling us about a new boyfriend. So, it just makes me think life is good. So we'll leave you with this. Yeah, go.
Ashton Kutcher. He's also backed an ICO now.
Right, let's go to his Twitter really quick. Guys, if you're following along in the car, you can also just look at Ashton Kutcher.
No, please don't Twitter. Tell people that are following along in the car to watch their Twitter account.
Also, can you guys, we'll stop the podcast. Can anyone tell me how to spell Kutcher? Anyway.
You don't need to stop the podcast. It's all right.
Anyway,
we can spell it out
the podcast.
For you. Someone can phone in.
Yeah, phone in and tell us how to spell Kutcher. Until next time, we want to thank you guys for listening to us crap on. Like us once, comment twice, and share the link of our podcast on your social medias and websites. Talking about websites, Brett, we are super duper close. I know we've been saying it for like 4 weeks, but we're super duper close to having our website up and running, at least to get the newsletter happening, yeah?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Remember, review this podcast and give us a 5-star rating on iTunes. If you're on YouTube, hit that like button. It really encourages us to continue to create podcasts for your listening pleasure.
Guess what, Brett?
What, Chad?
Podcast app has now updated to be non-shitty on the iTunes, on the phones. It's been really crappy for the last, 6 months to a year. So click subscribe to the podcast to get your weekly podcast updates from us, knuckleheads. And that'll appear in your podcast feed every Wednesday, 9 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time.
The links are below.
And they are. But until next time, my name's Chad.
And I'm Brett.
Let's get excited about the crypto space.
The transition has begun.
Do 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 do.